Greetings. Welcome to the BankBeat Quick Takes video blog. I'm Tom Bankston, publisher of BankBeat magazine and the daily news website, bankbeat.biz. My guest today is Rob Johnston, CEO and co-founder of Adlumin, a security and compliance automation platform for corporations, including financial institutions. Greetings, Rob. How are you?
I'm great, Tom. How about yourself?
Excellent. Let's get right into the questions. I think you have a fascinating company, and I think that our listeners and viewers are going to be very interested in your story. To start with, you have an incredible amount of experience within the cybersecurity industry and were instrumental in investigating the Democratic National Convention hack back in 2016. Can you tell us more about that experience and what role that has played in developing Adlumin as a company?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I've certainly had a very, I think, exciting career. I've gotten to do a lot of different things to include, investigate, Russian adversaries breaking into the Democratic National Committee, but as well as them breaking into the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff and a variety of other locations. I certainly have had a lot of opportunities. And when I was, throughout investigating all these incidents, I kind of noticed this repeated overt use of compromising people's logins and people's identities and using those to cause massive amounts of damage. Democratic National Committee, being certainly a victim of that, but by no means unique in being a victim of that. And then on top of that, I really noticed that, the banking sector, specifically, what you might call middle market banking, right? Like financial institutions with assets between 100 million in assets up to about 25 billion in assets were especially susceptible to these kinds of attacks and just attacks in general, because banks and financial institutions in general have a very unique technology ecosystem, like the core banking platform. The core banking platform is one of those pieces of technology that sometimes the bank doesn't even understand. They don't have access to it. They don't have any introspection into it. They don't have any security and compliance technology sitting on that system because it's very old, because it's traditionally managed, right? They lack, in a lot of cases, the human capital component. They don't have enough resources, and they continually are being asked to do more with less. And so it became a very unique segment, and a rather large segment, mind you, that within the U.S. Economic ecosystem, that middle market banking component of banks and credit unions and financial institutions between 100 million and 25 billion, that really needed something very unique to them and something special to them. And we're just happy, that I can use my experience to bring that technology to this ecosystem.
And of course, your product has been built specifically for financial institutions. And I'm wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit more on some of the specific features of the Adlumin platform that benefit banks.
Absolutely. So there's four component forces that I think affect, this segment, and that's, increasing regulatory and compliance measures, whether it's from the insurance agencies like FDIC or NCUA, or state and federal regulators, the SEC. There's decreasing budgets of compliance. Oftentimes there might be, at a multi-billion-dollar bank, only 6 people that are running, information technology and security within that multi-billion-dollar bank, and all the while they have an increasing threat. And so what we've done is we've brought a suite of products and technologies and mixed them all together that revolve around things like compliance. So, for example, NCUA's ASET and FDIC CAT, or FFIEC CAT, the cybersecurity assessment tool, and the automated cybersecurity examination toolkit from NCUA, they are built into the platform and automated. Adlumin is the only company in the United States that is allowed to conduct anomaly detection on top of core banking platforms. We've built the patented software that finally allows banks and credit unions to integrate their core banking solution into the overarching security ecosystem. And then, of course, we have special technologies like perimeter defense that allows banks and credit unions to scan their publicly available IP address blocks for things like vulnerability, malware, certificate expiration, new port opening. This is has a special amount of efficacy when it comes to the public IP addresses that host their ATM networks and their ATMs that are broadly distributed throughout their regional areas. And so every feature that we build in from the ground up, from compliance to security, is really built for the financial institution and the unique problems and issues that they have within that segment.
And I'm told that Adlumin is currently running a campaign designed to draw attention to cybersecurity awareness. What are some of the current gaps in cybersecurity that are most affecting the banking industry?
So of course it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So we're absolutely running campaigns to bring awareness to this kind of gap. But these banks and credit unions, they know that they're having these experiences, right? And so I think the most prolific is, one, data scalability. The requirement from the regulators and the requirement from the insurance agencies that's evaluating a bank's cybersecurity posture is demanding a level of scale in log collection and log analysis and security that the industry has never seen before. And the reason they haven't seen it in previous years is just technology is becoming much more prevalent in banking operations. When I look at the modern bank today, you traditionally 20 years ago, you just had the core general ledger, debits and credits that took place in an account. But now everything is becoming, third partied out, being like credit card origination, loan origination. They're all moving to SaaS platforms. And so you've got this bank that's becoming more and more and more open, which is great for consumers and customers. But traditionally, when you become more and more open, you're of course expanding your attack surface. And so the banks are experiencing that. They're having to bring in all these unique technologies, which is making their life easier and making the banking experience better for the customer and consumer, but they're not being able to achieve the level of scalability that they would like. And they still, up until Adlumin came along, weren't able to integrate their core into the security and compliance ecosystem. And we've gone ahead and solved all those problems for them.
And of course, you can't talk about banking in 2020 without referencing the pandemic. It's just affected every aspect of the financial services industry. What can you share with us with respect to how the pandemic has demonstrated a need for a security and compliance automation platform?
So when the pandemic first hit, a lot of these financial institutions were trying to figure out how to work and operate remotely, right? I think that was big hurdle number one. I think a lot of institutions found out that they weren't ready to conduct 100% remote operations. Now, there's a few nuances here. I think one reason I'm extremely bullish on the community banking and regional banking industry is the pandemic certainly didn't have a blanket impact across the United States. So, in rural America, the experiences they've had with the pandemic are vastly different than, say, they are here in DC or in New York City. And as a result, I think if you're a community bank, regional bank, you're in agriculture or small business lending in parts of America that aren't adversely affected, largely you're probably business as usual. There is very little, to no effect. But to those that did have some effect that are closer to major city centers, they did struggle to adapt to this remote lifestyle and remote lifestyle being, how you conduct business. The one nice thing about Adlumin is we were built, on a cloud native serverless platform. And I think just across the technology sector, it really focused in on, the importance of cloud developed technologies. On-premise technologies are dead. The day of them being valuable to a bank are quickly coming to an end. Everything is moving to software as a service cloud capability enabled. And the reason for that is because of the reliability, because of the fact that you can reach it from anywhere in the world. Nothing makes me happier than seeing, the consumers or customers of our products that work at our financial institutions that are our customers, calling us from home and being like, I'm logged into Adlumin right now doing my job, right? And I think that's really exciting to see, and also something that they can only do with a product like ours.
Adlumin just finished a round of Series A funding. And how do you see this funding affecting the trajectory of the company?
It's very exciting. Anytime you get a round of funding, it's always exciting because you're about to go through, about to experience significant growth, right? For us, this growth will come in channel business development, being finally, we've been building this huge mass of customers, and we're going to allow, distributors, resellers, managed service providers, integrators, which work a lot in the financial sector. We've shrink wrapped our product and made it easy for them to resell into their customer base, so that more and more and more banks can benefit from our product.
And you raised about $6 million. And so your plans for using those funds, I'm sure, include some of the things you just said. Do you want to share any more insight as to what you plan to do with that money?
Yeah, so that money will go both to fueling new product and new features that will make what we're doing for banks that much better. We've got a long roadmap, a lot of things that in the development pipeline that are going to be really, really valuable to banks across the United States. The next piece is, of course, the business development side. Expanding routes and channels to market. Our goal really is just to make sure that as many organizations as possible, as many financial firms as possible across the United States can benefit from using a streamlined product like Adlumin to just help them do their job in a more automated way, and get some immediate impact and some immediate value. We've got perimeter defense is a big feature for us that is just now released. We've got our core banking product line that is allowing more and more people with different core technologies to integrate it into their security and compliance ecosystem. We, of course, do hold the patents on that technology, and always forefront of our mind is keeping pace with compliance regulations that do affect the financial sector. Being able to produce the reporting that they need, being able to produce the specific compliance regulatory reporting that is required by whatever regulating body is assessing them, and then automating that. We're constantly re-looking and looking at the compliance regulations that regulate our customers, and making sure that they're equipped with the best in breed or the best in class technology and reporting that can help them do their jobs.
And of course, additional funding is a milestone that your company reached this year, but it's been a busy year, and there have been other important developments at Adlumin in 2020. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a variety of new feature releases, of course, a variety of new tech releases. We just hired some outstanding people. You can never shortchange the number of, or how important having great employees is, and having a great workforce is to really helping build your company. We became an ICBA preferred service provider. That was certainly a big deal. We're excited about our partnership with the Independent Community Bankers of America, and they continue to be advocates for Adlumin and advocates to their banking constituency. And so we've built an incredible team, an incredible product, and of course have incredible partnerships that are allowing us to bring it to market so quickly.
Well, Rob, we've run up against our time here, but thank you very much for spending some time with BankBeat. Rob, you've got a very exciting company. It sounds like there are a lot of cool things going on at Adlumin. So again, I'm Tom Bankston, publisher of BankBeat Magazine and the website bankbeat.biz. My guest has been Rob Johnston, CEO and co-founder of Adlumin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.